Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Road to Survival. I'm your host, Undead Juggernaut, and D30, I'm proud to present Raids 101. Now, before we jump in like Michonne trying to gut the governor, it's important that we discuss why we raid. Well, it's not just for the rep, although that does help. We want to do the raids for one very important reason. We want to get the extra food, the extra material, and the reputation. Plus, sometimes you get bonuses. And we're going to take a second look at my player card. You'll notice that I have a 5-star Rick up. He's not completely leveled, but it does show that he's tier 4, which shows that he's even more powerful. It also shows my win-loss ratio, and of course, my score overall, my team grade, that sort of thing. Now, when you jump into a raid, it's important to know that their timer starts right away. So, even though it starts straight away, that means that when you get in, you may not have a full 5 minutes to do your raid. Keep that in mind. The second thing we're going to look at is the name and the fact that there's no faction here. What that indicates is that this is a bot, which means that even though he's only ranked 8,000, he's probably going to have a more difficult team, even though this is only a 4-star. Now, if you take a look at a real one, you can also see there's much better victory rewards. Granted, this guy's 16,000, but you can see the rewards are much better. You'll notice he is a T4, and that he's at level 80, but he's a 5-star. That explains it. And one of these, there's a lot of things you're wanting to take a close look at, so you want to make sure that you're knowing what to look for before you jump in, including their rep versus what your rep was, and of course the faction that they're in. If it's a notable and notorious faction, you'll know them by name. We all do. Now, next we're going to take a look at, if you click on info, the I button, you can see what their win-loss ratio is, what their team grade is. So if you have an S+, you may not want to go against an S++. This one's a little bit easier if you take a look at the numbers are a little bit lower, more like what I'm in line with. Now, the only thing I'm going to get into instead of strategy is that you can do a long click while you're actually in the raid to see a number of things, including what their skill is, the specialist skill, the adrenaline rush, and what boosts their weapon's going to give them, especially if it's a platinum that comes in handy. Now, take a look at the bottom of your map. You see factions. When you click on factions, one very important thing happens. It comes up here. Now take a look there. You'll notice that it has the entire rep. Now that's not just your rep, that's everybody's rep and the rank. So when you raid, it helps the entire faction out. Next, you're going to click on activity. When you click on activity, it's going to bring you to a different screen. Now what that screen shows is everybody that's been raided in your faction. If you click on info, like we're going to take a look, Austin was raided by Carl. So when you click on info, it shows a lot of information here. Don't overlook the little things. For example, see how this says 32 minutes ago? That means it's very likely that the person that you're wanting to raid has a shield, and you won't be able to attack him anyway, so don't waste your time. Secondly, it shows that the team that your team member lost to. If you have characters that you know can beat those characters, that's important. And last but not least, it shows what the rank of both your team member plus the enemies was. So if you're a higher level, if you have a higher rep, that sort of thing, it'll tell you straight away whether or not you have a chance. Last but not least, again, take a look at what's shielded. So I do have a special bonus for... Now, I know I kind of flew through that, and as my way of saying thanks for sticking with me, I found a little bonus made by Scopley, and I thought you might appreciate it.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I shall be telling this with a sigh. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. The Walking Dead, Road to Survival.
Come on now, how badass was that? Pretty amazing, right? Listen, one more thing before I let you go. It's really important for you to know your rep. And the reason for that is that your rep is going to determine who you can go against safely. Now, at the making of this video, my rep is 9,199. Now, we want it above 10k. The reason for that is it looks good not only for you, but for your entire faction. When you're choosing who you're going to raid, you got to be smart about it. Don't always go for somebody lower than you, and the reason for that is you get less points. And you want as many rep points as possible per raid. Now, the higher you go, the more you'll get. You usually get about 25 raid points if you go for somebody 1,000 or more higher than you. So if you're confident in your team, you want to play around and see what you can do. And of course, you want to take the other things into consideration. Do they have a 5-star up, whatever. Now, that doesn't always work. Going for the raid tournaments, on the other hand, Go for as many as possible, because any kill, any win will get you 16 points at least. So go for as many as possible, not necessarily quality over quantity. Well, that's all I got for you today, folks. So until next time, survive at all costs and stay dirty, my friends.